Welcome back to Animal World, our co-inhabitants. We are interviewing P. Horsley, a professional animal telepathic communicator from Britain, about her work. Ms. Horsley frequently holds workshops where she teaches participants how to communicate telepathically with our animal friends. Ms. Horsley can converse inside with an animal from afar, even if she has never met them.
There was one animal that I remember who's generally lost, a little Jack Russell dog called Marmite, and his guardian contacted me after he'd been missing for an entire week, and she emailed me a photo and asked me to track him for her. So I connected with Marmite through the photo, and he was able to give me details of where he was. He said, I'm over a mile away from home, I'm underground, but I'm surrounded by concrete, and there's no natural light, and I've got water over my paws. I said, okay, give me a few more details, and he did, and I passed these details on to his guardian, and she said, my God, I think I know where he is, but it's a long way away. She went to this point, and she found him immediately within an hour, and he was stuck down a 12-foot shaft, surrounded by concrete. It was a disused canal shaft, and he was able to be rescued. He was a very good communicator as well. Yeah, it's great.
While reading Supreme Master Ching Hai's #1 international best-selling book, The Dogs in My Life, Miss Horsley felt an inner connection when she saw a picture of Hermit, one of the many wonderful canines featured in the book.
When I came to this particular photo of Hermit, I felt an instant connection, and I feel that he's a very, very spiritual dog. I felt from him is an immense power, which I felt as a strong feeling in my solar plexus. He's so beautiful, he's such a beautiful animal.
What have dogs and cats told P. Horsley about how they want to live life?
Well, from my experience of communicating with animals, I find that dogs want to be treated as equals, but they want to be honoured as dogs living in a human environment. And I find that cats want to have the freedom to be cats. They want to be independent, and they want to be able to express their natural, instinctive feline behaviour. When they're able to do this, it's much easier for them to coexist with humans living in a human environment. Sometimes that environment changes. For instance, the home might get much noisier, or an animal is introduced, or maybe a new baby arrives, and that will unsettle animals.
Do you think there is a general message that animals would like to give us?
Yeah, they want us to slow down. They want us to get more in touch with nature. They want us to connect with the beautiful parts of nature, because animals that are living with us, they see us living busy, stressful lives, and they're concerned about the whole work-life-play balance.
Our animal companions may also have specific things they want to tell us about how to improve our lives.
I can tell you about a beautiful cat that I communicated with called Stuart. In fact, this is Stuart. He's a Maine Coon. And shortly after I began to communicate with Stuart, he was diagnosed with cancer. And before he passed over, he wanted to pass the message on to his guardians, which he communicated through me. And he wanted to give them 3 pieces of advice, which he wanted them to hear and to take on board. And the first piece of advice was to breathe slowly to connect with energy. The second piece was to think only positive thoughts. And the third piece was to follow your heart on all matters. And they heard this advice and they took it on board, and their lives actually turned around to be much better. But more importantly than this, that these pieces of advice helped them enormously cope with his passing over.
Our animal friends want the best for all those living on Earth.
They care about the entire planet and every living being on it. They've got a much broader view, a much more generous view. They don't care about just their own species. When I was teaching animal communication at the Cotswolds Wildlife Park, we were communicating with the lions, and the subject of the planet and all living beings on the planet was all they wanted to communicate about. That's all they wanted to talk about. So we walked across, in fact, the giant Aldabra tortoises, and the tortoises gave myself and the students messages for humanity. One student had a wonderful message from one of the tortoises about humanity. This message is: the huge mass relocation of people from one country to another with wars is the greatest misguidance of the value of human life and the role each and every one of you is to play. Live simply and sparing with food for living. The only indulgence should be basking in the beauty of nature and harmony which surrounds us.
Our appreciation goes to P. Horsley for taking the time to speak with us about her fascinating work and for letting the world know about how humans and animals can connect inside with each other. Many thanks, friendly viewers, for being with us on Supreme Master Television for this edition of Animal World, Our Co-Inhabitants. Coming up next is enlightening entertainment, following noteworthy news. May all beings on the planet grow closer in spirit each and every day.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/AW.